people are starting to ask the question, is m0NESY a choker? And if you'd have time traveled from a year or two ago and asked this same question, people would have called you crazy because he used to be the man in these big games. But recently, people are saying maybe it's not the case. And I'm here to answer that question, okay? I've got data. I've got rounds. I've got other players to compare him to. But let's first start with the post itself. The bone I have to pick with m0NESY is this year he's consistently underperformed in the higher stake matches. He's being set up in a way so he's given the most opportunities to get most frags, and they're relying on him to perform, and without fail, he's failed almost every time in the bigger matches. And it's not as black as white as just looking at the numbers and the ratings. Anyone who's watched that Furia match knows how often he made terrible strategic mistakes that cost his team's rounds. And he thinks one of m0NESY or chokemeister are going to get benched from the team partly because of m0NESY. Now listen, I think everyone agrees that Falcons have had a big choking problem as a team this year, okay? I think no one's questioning that. I heard a rumor behind the scenes, Falcons are going to be the first team to get a Heimlich maneuver coach in to stop them from choking. Okay, obviously a joke, but it would be kind of funny. It would be kind of funny if Falcons actually did that, okay? If you want a Heimlich maneuver coach, I'm happy to learn the Heimlich. In case you don't know, the Heimlich stops you from choking, that little, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to perform it. Anyway, it turns out I'm not an expert. Maybe you can't hire me. But the vibe is he's gone from a playoff monster to a serial choker that farms big group stages, right? And you go down a bit further, someone on the other side is saying maybe it's just bad IGLing, right? You know, Furia did their homework. They were doing really well. Falcons strats are pretty straightforward. Well, the problem with that is, who was m0NESY having on his last team? Snacks? What, you think like Snacks was some great in-game leader? You think like Hooksy was some great in-game leader? I don't know. That seems kind of hard to believe, right? So let's look at some numbers, okay? Firstly, we'll look at this series. m0NESY, 0.93 rating. Not exactly great, but m0NESY and chokemeister, the two players that this guy was talking about saying they might get cut because of m0NESY's underperformance. Listen, chokemeister's the IGL. You can forgive it a bit more. This is pretty poor from m0NESY. 15 and 30, right? NiKo, again, like kind of okay. kyosuke, doing great. We'll talk about him as well because I think there could be an argument that maybe m0NESY is forcing things a little less because he has someone like kyosuke on his team who can be so active. I think that could be part to play in this, right? But you can see here, and listen, m0NESY for me is someone who I kind of have thought for a while he may be someone who sometimes does struggle in those big games. And I wonder if you have him, if you have NiKo as well, if you have chokemeister as quite an inexperienced IGL, maybe it's just the overall team is sort of dragging m0NESY down a bit. Like maybe that's part of it, right? Because we know how good he was in the past in these moments. And I did some digging, okay? I looked at some data. Look at this here, basically. These are just all the games added up. In 2024, m0NESY in big games was basically the same as his overall rating in that year. This year, it's down to a 1.12 in those same big games, which I'm counting on the side here. And you can see that's way lower than the 1.26 rating, right? And compared to a Donk, I don't know how Donk keeps up those sorts of numbers this year in the big games, but apparently he does. There are some things to caveat on these stats, though. Firstly, there is the drop-off there from m0NESY, but you can see a lot of these games are against Vitality earlier in the year, and Vitality was so dominant at the start of the year that I think it's understandable that m0NESY would have a bit of a fall-off in his ratings, right, in these big games. If you're just keeping on playing against Vitality, they were just so flawless in the way they were playing. I think it's hard to expect him to keep his rating up. Secondly, you can look, and here's the one thing I will say, right? I'm counting Pro League as some of these as big games, right? Like this final against m0NESY, it kind of has to count as a big game. Oh, sorry, the semi-final, I should say. But a lot of people are going to feel like it kind of isn't a big game, right? And I get that. And those are the two series he actually did very well. In the rest of them, he is mediocre, right? But look at this. Remember this? This against FaZe, right? This is back in G2 days for m0NESY, right? Against FaZe, 0.83 rating. Like, maybe this isn't just, right, a Falcons thing. Maybe this is something that was happening already towards the end. Now, obviously, there were some he had that were great. Like here, Blast World Final, Semi-Final. m0NESY was playing incredible in this one, right? So he's shown that he can do it in the past. And I want to show you some numbers this year. So as we said with Donk, 1.41 rating. And you can see it holds up pretty well against top teams. ZywOo, 1.32 rating in big events for the year. Holds up really well again against top teams. He's basically getting the same rating. m0NESY, 1.26 rating in big events for the year. But against the top teams, there is a bit of a drop-off there, right? And I was curious. Okay, let's look at like other AWPers then. So Shiro, 1.21 rating for the year. Actually, let's put it on big events just to make sure it's all the same. 1.20 rating. There is a bit of a drop-off again, though, for Shiro. Maybe it's an AWPer thing, right? But then you look at m0NESY, 1.15 rating for the year. He does actually sometimes better against top 5 opponents. His numbers do seem to hold up, okay? That's a lot of data. That's a lot of digging. But what do we think overall on this m0NESY question? I think that this recent performance we saw against Furia, I think people are being maybe a little harsh. And I think overall, the main moments that were memorable were from that second map in the second half. And that is where he clearly had a drop-off. And to be fair, that was the highest pressure part of the game, right? But I do think there were a lot of moments prior to that in this series that weren't really m0NESY's fault, and he was just getting put in like awkward positions or sometimes even having some good moments. But I will admit, as we go through these clips, towards the end of that game, that it is inarguable that he played pretty poorly, and he did have some mistakes that we'll get into. First, let's take a look at some of the earlier moments, okay? Because there was some good stuff in here too.
Come through for them, giving them those early leads.
You can kind of see Hero AK here.
Second round 4 spy.
And he's taking the initiative on this 4 spy with the Hero AK. Gets 1 kill. I do think he gets slightly blinded, but that still looks like a little bit of an awkward fight, right?
Dangerous second round 4 spy. But m0NESY, ever present, lethal.
But I don't think it's the end of the world. Maybe he's a bit more blind. It's always hard to tell how blind he really is.
That opening kill.
He goes 1 for 1, and they keep the AK.
For the gun.
To be honest, you kind of take that. You're opening up the map. That's not bad. You know, nice to see him trying to make something happen, right? Here in round 5, Nico's going to throw this molly towards top banana, and it seems like they were maybe expecting this to cover the barrels, but it just doesn't.
They look to meet in the mid-round.
There's the molly thrown. Doesn't spread all the way. And you can see Kicksan has a flash out here. For some reason, he doesn't throw this flash. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe they just think this molly's deeper than it is. But either way, he never throws that flash. And so m0NESY is the man walking in first.
Good util from...
And m0NESY's found a cheeky angle in front of the, well, behind the molly.
Nico will keep them back. Stopping m0NESY is a...
And so I'm like, okay, first gun round there. That's not m0NESY's fault. I'm not going to blame him for that. That clearly looks like the team thought it was clear. For some reason, Kicksan didn't flash. There was clearly something a bit iffy going on there. Can't really blame him, right? In the next one.
Tested here. MP9 up close. Gets out with 1.
kyosuke forcing it through. Little flash assist from
teammates at top banana. Can't play through this smoke.
And again, this is something I think could be impacting things. I do wonder slightly if on m0NESY's previous teams, he felt like he had to push the issue a little more and take initiative a little more, whereas with kyosuke is pretty active as a player, and it feels like he's often the big playmaker on the team, right? And I feel like often when Falcons win rounds, especially in this series, it was kind of because he was just doing something wild. And I wonder if that is taking away m0NESY's ability slightly to always be that main man. Because it almost feels like to me throughout this series, when they win rounds, often it's kyosuke doing something early. When they lose rounds, m0NESY just can't get involved early. And then he's stuck in like a really hard situation. So you're going to see him
hanging around for a shot, gets him killed.
Oh! Eventually he goes down, but to be fair, m0NESY does well off the back of this. Has this angle over the top.
Good trade back for Fallen, but he's got to focus on...
Good headshot. That's going to be the round win there. So working off the back of kyosuke quite well. Round 7.
On a bully Falcons, and Yakinda's got...
This is what I mean. 2 players just going down on banana early. You're in a 3v5.
Something to say. Him and Fallen combine for a double, and Yakinda doesn't know.
You get this flashback in. kyosuke gets blinded by this. And maybe this is a bit of a mistake. I think m0NESY is probably expecting kyosuke to be holding this angle towards the barrel, so he just jumps up here. And it does mean it's a pretty easy fight here for Yakinda. He catches him while he's jumping.
Still sticking it out in a top.
kyosuke ends up trading. It's not the end of the world, but maybe just a bit of miscommunication. Maybe didn't realize kyosuke had been blinded by that flash. Either way, it feels like a slow start for m0NESY stats-wise, but I don't think he's done too much too wrong so far, right? Round 11, skipping ahead a bit.
Start over towards B. Instead looks for his first fight down through mid.
He heard them climb out. He's going to scope it. Oh! No need. No need.
Again, another example of, I think Tessus there should probably get that trade kill. And listen, I'm on Tessus watch, okay? When we get to the major, I'm on Tessus watch, low-key. I want to see how he does. But
Indeed.
3v5
Doesn't
early.
matter what they're learning in this game. Another multi-kill
Nico doesn't even clear the corner, by the way. Bit awkward.
from him. This aggressive.
And again, it's another round where I'm like, especially on this Inferno early on, like, m0NESY, I don't think he could have done much different, right? Like, he's just been left in a 2v5, and you're like, okay, well, can you call this m0NESY playing badly in a big game? Not really. He's just kind of getting put in terrible positions.
Pathing out towards Banana, gonna nail Nico.
Here in this one, they go down a man early.
When will the
And then, I don't know if this is like structural or what. It does seem very weird to me to have m0NESY going into apps with the AWP, right? Like, there's this smoke up here, put up by the CT side. Tessus has been cut off from m0NESY. I think because they lost their player on Banana, they just want to go towards A, but I don't know if I fully want m0NESY here with the AWP in the first place.
penny drop?
Because he's just going to turn his back
Yuri with a
and go down, and then Tessus is cut off by the smoke.
good catch in the apartments again, and I mean, he's been taking more and more liberties with how he's playing.
And you kind of wonder, like, what could one of these mid players just have gone apps with the rifle instead? I don't know. Maybe there was some different plan in mind, but like, yeah, when that smoke comes in, I don't know if that's the way to play it. Let's put it that way.
This A site no longer sitting back in the pit. Yuri's bringing the fight to them.
Don't even
And by the way, Yuri's obviously going to get stuck in this position,
need it.
Fallen. It was all a part of a bigger plan.
and eventually they are going to trade it out. So it's not like m0NESY's like move ended too badly there. They ended up getting the 1-for-1 for it.
Maybe.
But because they lost that player on the other side of the map, it's a 3v4, which is kind of a tough position. So overall, like, I don't think m0NESY's done much bad so far.
And even though he's playing Speedway for a faster rotate, he's
And then getting into the second half, CT side is normally where you're going to get a bit of a better chance just to have rounds come to you.
towards B.
And you'll see straight in the pistol, m0NESY
It's in the wrong place. And so you're looking at m0NESY, you're looking at Tessus, and you're thinking, you guys
plays anti-flash for both those very
in
well.
the wrong place. And so you're looking at m0NESY, you're looking at Tessus, and you're thinking, you guys have got to do it. You got to get a multi-kill. Oh, and m0NESY will deliver it. There's the support. Oh,
It's maybe not the cleanest egg ever, but it's a 3K. Like, he's coming with impact there.
got to do it.
Okay, that second fight was a bit awkward, but we know shooting the back of the head can be tricky.
Multi-kill.
And that was still a nice adjustment, right? To get that player jumping out of apps.
Oh, and m0NESY
So again, comes in with the 3K, a much needed pistol.
will deliver it. There's the support.
That is him stepping up in a big moment, you got to say.
Yeah,
Then into this
that's
one.
right. As the retake util comes in, and that's a big problem.
Again, the B players just get melted.
Trapped in the mollies. Case of site. Count over. And maybe a hope of a
Nico
comeback
does what he
win
can, but it's just a 1-for-1.
because Case of
And again, it's like, honestly, it's just not involved, right? It's just
in form.
you could argue that maybe he needs to do more to get involved, but like, did you see that B hold? He's left in a 2v4.
Great B.
Of course he's going to save. He has to save. Doesn't get a chance again. Okay, so here in this one.
Rifle talent for the Falcons.
3v3 retake, so again, the other side got lost, but this is a winnable position.
Try and move in.
Fallen actually goes
They
down.
get past Fallen.
And if anything, m0NESY looks a little shaky here, but we know he was very good throughout this tournament, so we'll let him off for this
But
one.
has he just sold this position for m0NESY? It's a bait and switch. And again,
Bait and switch works. Again, it feels like Falcons get into these positions quite a lot where they just kind of leave something uncleared or something weird happens where it's like, I don't see any other team get into these sorts of positions as much where they've got two players looking at the site and m0NESY just looking at the backs of their heads, but it works out okay.
yesterday, Fallen always will.
Yeah, that's a bit shaky. You want the clean kill on the transfer there.
This guy up.
But
This
then with the bomb ticking,
time it lets him down.
m0NESY just has to get on the bomb.
Quesarato's got to do it.
He's going to tap it again here.
Plays
And okay, look at the positions.
it
We'll
lets him
rewind.
down.
Actually, I'll play it out. I'll play it out first.
Quesarato's got to do it. Plays the trigger discipline. Swings it. And Kiers.
So,
Suke.
honestly, m0NESY gets the dink
And then
off there, and I think he actually plays it really well.
Plays the lets him
Because
down.
you go back,
Quesarato's got to do
you can see Kiyosuke's obviously standing over here, right? So m0NESY realizes Kiyosuke will probably get shot first if Quesarato was playing towards Ruins or CT. So m0NESY realizes, I've just got to tap the bomb and try and get him if he's playing towards triple or dark. Right? And then Quesarato comes out, doesn't actually take this kill. We get another tap, and then a pretty quick flick up from m0NESY
the trigger
to get a dink. which makes sure Kyosuke's got a really easy turnaround and trade from his position, right? And it was important that m0NESY faked it and was able to get that dink off, right? And was able to realize the situation that Keiserato was going to be in. Like, he pinpointed the position really well.
Swings it, and Kyosuke.
So, okay, pretty well played, actually, in that one. Doesn't get the kills on the stats, but works well with his team.
Now, right as Falcons are getting a bit more comfortable, and they have
Here in this one.
come through with a more evenly changed that. Now, right as Falcons are getting a bit more comfortable, and they have come through with a more aggressive.
Manages to pick off Fallen early. Maybe a bit, like, surprising, I guess, that Fallen is exposed to that, but gets his a nice opening pick. He's got involved.
Kinder said
We skip ahead.
in this
On the B
dodge too.
the kickstand. This is now a better idea.
3v4, right? m0NESY's come over to B because of some of the pressure.
Yeah.
They've taken banana control, so these A players
Silence to this
got to step it
round,
up.
but he's done it and will be rewarded for it. Now a better idea, but the hit's coming, and the hit's coming fast. Yuri with a blinding opener. Are they ready for Nico? Is that set?
Cessus goes down at a key moment. Nico goes down at a key
Good
moment.
player, Yuri.
You're left with the AWP in a 2-on-3 retake. And, like, maybe you could make the argument that m0NESY could be doing more and trying to get involved more. But here's another thing, right? Inferno, especially as a map, it's pretty hard to get involved as the AWPer. Like, it's a lot harder to force the issue a lot of the time. And it's just going to be another 2v3 retake where, like, he can't do anything. And he has to save. So again, like, I think overall, I looked at that map and I was like, listen, I don't really think m0NESY's done much of anything wrong there. If anything, I think a lot of rounds were kind of due to his teammates, like, not putting him in good enough positions. Let's go into the Mirage, though, because I think this is the one people had a little more frustration at. Let's start.
Calling the soft-legged shrimp because of his propensity to crumble and crack under pressure. Now's not the time for it.
Actually, really nice 2K there from m0NESY in the pistol. He has the bomb, remember, so getting that second kill is huge. They have this smoke up.
m0NESY, two.
But unfortunately, his teammates are really, like, stalled in getting towards the site for whatever reason.
Kills in this pistol.
I guess the idea is to come in through connector with this waterfall smoke, and CT is exposed and open. But it means m0NESY is just running in with very little support, and so they just slip this smoke.
A bit more damage downrange.
And again, I don't really know if he could have done much there. I
For
think
it,
also,
m0NESY, two kills in this.
Kixan was smoked off in Palace. For some reason, that doesn't show on the minimap, but clearly that had a bit of a part to play, right? Like, you probably want him holding this angle.
Pistol.
By the way, like, he's forced to push into the site.
More damage downrange.
Again, got 2 kills, didn't really do a whole lot wrong there, right?
He's going to force it as well, down under. AWP
This is where it maybe starts. Molodoy gets a pick.
Tessa's out of the round. And Molodoy leaves with his life.
And I think that's the first time I would say that is like a pretty iffy spray from m0NESY.
AWP connects. Tessa's out of the round. And Molodoy leaves with his life. Yakindo.
I don't think it's especially like egregious or awful, but it's not great, right? It's a pretty poor spray. But it's still pretty early on, okay? But that's a bad one. I'll give you that, right? We'll see it continue.
Angle. It's just, will that happen in time for more players to be shuffled over towards A?
m0NESY's been waiting. Now's the time.
Oh, flash. Dodge
Very next round, flash in. m0NESY actually dodges it, gets his team the open.
by m0NESY. And now this ain't over, but they're not going to beat teammates barreling through these smokes to try and help him. Yuri gets out with
And
the
you'll see, they turn that into good trades and a round win. So again, having impact, getting an opening kill. I mean, sure, it's not like a crazy, like, massive, huge play, but like that really helped. That was an important opener to get, right?
opening. Furia, they just committed to go and re-clear.
Here in this one, you'll see on the kill feed here.
Find a way
he
to get you an
gets a kill here while
opening. Furia, they just committed to go and re-clear middle. There's the blind.
Again, you can see, like, pretty good, like, getting on these angles, and you can see he was really searching for that opening in from Palace.
Over, going to try his hand. No, it's just Yuri as the stack is melted.
He gets mollied off, but they just
Serato
trade
moving
out.
over, going to try his hand at the smoke push, maybe.
Now, at this moment, m0NESY pulls out a smoke for connector right as Keiserato gets flashed in.
About it, there's the flash.
So Keiserato gets the first kill, and now it gets a bit awkward.
To tee him up. Molodoy gets
and you
him
can see there m0NESY's sort of jiggling. I don't think he's quite ready for Keiserato to be on this angle. It also doesn't seem like Kixan and m0NESY are able to get on the same page here. Because Kixan is still sort of sitting on the site and holding towards CT that he's somewhat scared of.
Keiserato does the rest. Just
eventually Kixan trades, but I will say this feels like a fight.
Hand at the smoke push.
Where you look at it and it's hard to tell because you don't get to see his POV, but it does feel a bit like he's a little slow almost to
Maybe
react.
thinking about it.
Like, when that flash comes in, you should know chokemaester's roughly here. You probably should know he's likely to go somewhere towards triple or stay towards this spot or fall back through the smoke, but there's not a massive range of positions he can be, right? So if the comms are decent, or even just if you're aware where this smoke is, you should kind of know that they're roughly where he's going to be.
The flash to tee him up.
So to have this weird, like, jiggle.
Try his hand at the smoke push, maybe thinking about it. There's the flash to tee him up. m0NESY gets him
Where
in.
he doesn't seem to get a shot off. Like, I can understand that. That looks like a bit of an awkward moment. I think that could be improved on. I will give you that one.
Reconsider.
Oh, Kinder. This is a risky spot to be in. Gets the info top mid, but if he hangs around for too long, m0NESY is closing in on this lower push. m0NESY here to cover, and there's the clash.
Here in this one, just gets picked off early. Not ideal. Not ideal, I will say. It is a bit confusing as well, because
For too long,
your Kinder is throwing these nades from connector, so I kind of feel like if someone's throwing nades like this from con, you probably have to be ready for them to have cover in connector, right? Like, he's not just going to be throwing these with no support, you would think.
He is closing in on this.
So, yeah, I just thought you might be ready for an AWP, like, holding under, because, yeah, this is kind of, someone has to be holding under, right?
Slower push.
Maybe he's just hoping it's going to be an AWP fight against a rifle.
m0NESY here to cover. And
Either way, feels like a pretty easy
That's the
fight
clash
for
of the
m0NESY,
AWP.
which he's not going to miss. And m0NESY definitely did great throughout this match. Got to give it to him.
m0NESY again.
In the next
Moves
one,
in.
m0NESY actually got an opening here. We didn't get to catch that on this highlight.
Minimum, you're not expecting this. You're not expecting he's found his way onto an AWP. You've seen Deagle
But then we've got this hero AWP for m0NESY,
in this round. You
which
know
is probably
their
unexpected.
money's low. But you only have the element of surprise
And m0NESY jumps
for
down
that
into
first
con.
kill. chokemeister lands one on the Deagle, gets
And
the
he just straight up duels him. He just straight up duels m0NESY and gets that one AWP out of the round.
spot. m0NESY.
Huge kill there.
Your Kindas, the AWP removed.
And unfortunately, for whatever reason,
Gets the spot. m0NESY.
Falcons as a team, and this is not on m0NESY because he's nowhere near this.
Cover provided.
Like, again, it's just one of these rounds. They just don't clear the site.
And the AWP removed.
Like, look, they just start planting while your Kinder's crouching on the site. No one's cleared the site, man.
Fury are going to focus ahead and look for this.
So the bomb plant gets denied, and suddenly these connector players who must have been assuming the bomb was going to be planted are now in a panic, and they feel like they've got to go to the site.
Your Kindas sitting idly.
And it's smart from Fallen to realize this, and he just walks through. And I can't really blame these guys, because clearly they were just confused in the chaos.
No
way.
And m0NESY goes down alongside his teammate.
Fallen backstab comes in. And Nico again, a clutch required.
And so again, like, it kind of oftentimes comes back to this question of me, like, this isn't a m0NESY problem to me. This feels like an overall Falcons problem a lot of the time, more than anything, right? However, as we get to the second half, I will admit it does start to get a little bad, okay? And I think that's what people are remembering, and I think that's the main thing here. People are remembering that final half where he was bad and taking that as the overall level of play. I think you can definitely criticize him for this final half that's coming up, because that is the most important moment of the game, and it is your map pick. So we'll get into that. Let's get into that.
But that was denied.
And m0NESY gets an opener.
m0NESY's AWP continues to find success. 5-on-4. Oh!
And then m0NESY there, he was holding round.
Denied. And m0NESY.
Listen, I know that m0NESY is very quick and good, but like, this is one where, again, m0NESY is holding this angle.
His AWP continues to find success.
We don't get to see it, but I don't think he gets a shot off.
5-on-4. Oh!
So that does feel, again, like a little surprising, considering m0NESY is meant to be known for his speed.
God!
So again, having some more iffy moments on this map, I will agree.
Tucked.
But then
m0NESY
in this one,
scoped in at ramp. They're going to let m0NESY.
flash over the top, really quick and nice peek from m0NESY, timing it with that flash. Gets the
Nice
opener.
shot.
lead the way. Those costing them the round.
Fury or nothing.
Last time they didn't clear this, it ended up costing them the round.
This time they molly Yuri out, even though he gets
Yuri
two
in with
kills.
2. Kiyosuke on this lurk. Gets involved.
Still need the plant.
End up in even
They get in the 2v2. m0NESY actually has to come
odds.
plant here.
No way to deny this for Fury.
Definitely plants on the right side, while Kiyosuke is here to cover this.
The plant found Kiyosuke.
And he ends up getting his kill alongside
Get
Kiyosuke
back.
to close out the half. So overall, that half, definitely some ups and downs, but I think it was a pretty good half from him.
Gonna change much.
This second half is where it gets weird though, right? Straight away in this pistol round, like, I get that maybe short could be open, but look here, we get the flash in.
Oh,
Kiyasuke's just got a kill towards mid. Yes, there's a minute on the clock, so maybe short could have been open for a weird little, like, short time period, but I don't really think so.
Okay, catches him.
And then look, Tesses has just been flashed in. He's seen a lot of players. There's util coming in. m0NESY is sitting at bench.
Says dead straight away, even though he's teed up with flashes from Nico, but there's more where that
He gets a kill, and then
came from this beast.
Like,
Tess says dead straight away, even though he's teed up with flashes from Nico, but there's more where that came from.
I just don't get why he's running out into the open. He's just giving them the fight that they want, right? That just feels very odd, because Nico's sitting here at the back of the site. He can help you hold angles, right? Like, if players come running towards you, he could be holding the angle. You could quickly pop out. It's a very good position bench here in this pistol round where there's not much utility. So that wasn't
Tess says dead straight away, even though he's teed up with flashes from Nico.
He does still get one kill on the round, but with the old unsilenced USP for some reason.
Where that came from this
but
B-side.
okay, like, did feel really weird.
Stack.
And that kill
now comes to fruition.
It's definitely part of why, like, Furia can get back in
this. It's the student and the master, Nico.
And I think that is where it starts to get, like, a little dodgy, right? It is sometimes the decision-making which starts to look a little dodgy.
It was conceded.
And then from here, I don't know, man. It felt like from that moment, everything just changed. Like,
crossed.
Here, smoke gets wiped.
So you're on for a retake here. Nade on this.
His teammate who wipes the smoke feels like a kill he should get.
Smoke. Yeah, his sight was conceded when kicks.
Like, they would have got the timing perfect. They would have told him exactly when
they're
wiping
for a retake here. Nade on the smoke.
I mean, Fallen jumps back, to be fair to him, but still.
To net you a kill crossing.
Probably a kill you should get, and you're playing full retake here. And now,
miss from m0NESY.
Because you don't get that kill, it's a 5v5 retake, and it makes a big difference.
Makes it 5v5 group spawn to help you.
And again, Falcons do this slow, like, rotate through CT, preparing the retake.
So much time ticked off this bomb. They're leaving it to the last possible second, and that might come back to hold
them. I think that's the main thing that screws them here. It's pretty well traded, but it's just the time. Like, Falcons, we're never going to have much of a chance there as an overall team decision, right?
For map.
Then in this next one, m0NESY's playing kind of solo B here, and B short is also open, which seems to be the problem in this round. So he's put the molly down to slow them in B apps. He's put the smoke down.
Second round winner this whole.
But I think Furia read this really well. They figure if there's this much blocking going on, it's kind of weird to do that this early in the round, right? And so they figure, let's just pounce on B. And in the meantime,
most important,
m0NESY, he's looking at short right now, right? He's hoping this smoke is just going to be a wall. But look at this flash that Fallen throws. It's actually a great flash, and it is a flash that is purposely designed for this angle, I think. Because look at the angle he throws it on the minimap.
Would only be the second round winner this whole half for Falcons, but it'd be the most
important. It's clearly a flash that, in part, is to blind this angle, right? And it probably blinds players on the site a bit as well. But it blinds m0NESY beautifully.
The timing on this is round winner this whole half for Falcons, but it'd be the most important one. Fury are going to run.
The thing is, if m0NESY has a rifle here, he maybe spams it and tries to drip back, but instead, he's got an AWP.
Through.
So he has to go away straight away. There's a molly on him too, by the way, so he can't even stick around if he has a rifle. So yeah, really good, like, pace change and timing play from Furia. m0NESY gets back.
Leaves him off the line.
And that's the moment there where you're a bit like, I think he just gets caught in two minds.
m0NESY blind.
I think it's decision making again. I'll play it at full speed. Let me play it at full speed. I think he gets stuck between being scared of being rushed down and doesn't really get the chance to focus the fight.
You're going to run through.
m0NESY blind. Leaves him off the line, and it gets really claustrophobic.
And then the close one goes against him as well. Actually, let's put it on 0.5 speed. Let me just watch this back. This is what we want.
Leaves him off the...
Yeah, for whatever reason, like, that little flick, that's just so odd. I'm like, is he worried that he's better off holding this right angle because he thinks that they haven't got as close as they actually have? That shouldn't be the case, because chokemeister's already run at him on the site, so he should be aware they're already past, but maybe he just thinks that they're all further back than chokemeister. Either way, misses that chance. And then he even gets that shot off, and he, like, doesn't really react to chokemeister being so close to him. So, yeah, again, you can see, like, the iffy moments creeping in.
Second half has been crazy dominant.
12-8 down. Again,
Kiyasuke has remained the only...
They have a man advantage. Quickly traded. But look, this connector smoke is about to fade.
Of hope, and even then he gets extinguished.
And yes, I get that is weird movement from Fallen. Like, he's running up short, and he suddenly turns around for seemingly not a real reason.
Light glimmer of hope.
But dude, m0NESY here, he literally has, look at the minimap. He has a clear vision on Fallen in the back, in short with the bomb.
Even then he gets extinguished.
And he just misses. And then,
Fallen
to make it worse, we get this boost coming in. Nico gets a kill, right? And m0NESY decides to recommit to connector looking at short, this almost feels to me like he feels like he's missed his opportunity for a free kill on Fallen. He wants to make up for it. He goes back in. But they've just boosted a guy in window, man. You've got to be ready for a player underpass here.
Hey, Serato.
And instead, he's hard scoped up top.
Oh, no.
He misses that flick as well. And goes down. And you're like, okay.
Pounded down in the...
There are some signs here. Some signs are showing, right? There is that little element of, okay, this is not looking as good. This is not looking good. They go on to win that. And then 11-12.
Bottom of the
SS with this push. By the way, I know TSS is like kind of high sense, it seems, in general. Look at his crosshair movement.
The server, all the...
Wait, are we on the right? Yeah, we are.
Risk in this move. The
I just feel like he looks so shaky, you know?
Bottom
like,
of...
K0 is playing a bit of a weird angle.
The server, all the risk in this move. K0...
He tries to move forward, doesn't work out at all, right?
Auto denies. But what does that do? It funnels them in to Kyosuke.
This is going to be his time to shine. He's been keeping it up.
Kixan actually gets 2 kills back. Fair play to him.
Long. This is in overtime. Beckons.
Kyosuke again does well. Traded. Looks like a good position, right? Well,
only one.
The rotators come in.
Game long. This is in overtime. Beckons.
And we can see, fair play to Yakindar. He has made a great timing play here because Kixan obviously was just covering
what does that do?
Right?
It funnels them in to Kyosuke.
This is going to be his time to shine.
And not only that, but he's got these 2 kills, right? And Yakindar has just sat there and hasn't done anything against it.
He's been keeping it up.
So I think they've killed a couple of players on that short play. It looks like a B split. Yakindar's timing is fantastic.
In overtime, Beckons.
And also, these players just naded that con smoke, right? So they're rotating in quickly. Nico doesn't actually have his gun out yet.
Only one found. Yakindar on this leg. No, no, no. This can still go.
And then m0NESY just can't trade it. Neither of them have their guns out. And that's going to be that. We'll let it play.
Yakindar leaves them looking over their shoulder. Kixan getting boxed in. And did you really do all this only for the wheels to fall off?
Kixan actually does well in that.
Round 24. But it's still credit.
Swap. But he goes to the wrong side.
Keep them in. 3 kills deep. He needs this clutch.
You're feeling twitchy, feeling nervous.
Yuri, big favorite, and he does win.
Drop.
But
man, look at oh no!
It definitely is a situation where, I mean, firstly, Yakindar actually turns away, so you could even argue if m0NESY just doesn't make noise, he might just get this kill for free. But then the movement comes in. Yakindar quickly turns back.
No, no, no! This can still go.
Yeah, I think he just misses the shot, right? You hear the shot go off. I mean,
so wrong.
I do think this second half, he did look way worse, okay? We have to admit that. We do have to admit that. I don't know if it's a big enough trend, though. I still think, overall, Falcons as a whole, I think, just have this issue, right? That second half was poor. I will give you that. But overall, there is part of me that just thinks, like, we're comparing m0NESY to his own, like, lofty standards in these group stage games. And yeah, he's not playing at that same level in some of these important playoff matches, right? And sometimes the ones where he is doing it are these Pro League games, right? Against, like, m0NESY and against, well, in this one it is against Vitality, but it's Pro League. We don't care as much, right? And a lot of these bigger LAN events, these ratings aren't as good. I will give you that. But I don't think, based on what we've seen from m0NESY in the past, I think we're all overreacting just a little. Like, I don't think he's been that bad in a lot of these big games. I think it's just because he used to be so good in them, and because Falcons as a whole are struggling so much in them, that people are maybe over-exaggerating this a little, right? And that second half, there were a lot of moments that looked weird, right? And he did clearly look off. I will give you that. Anyway, overall, I don't think it's fair to call him a choker. I don't. I think because of his already high standards, people are just over-exaggerating this a bit, and because of what we used to, it's getting over-exaggerated a bit. But I think long-term, I still believe that m0NESY will be a good player in these big games. I still think he has that in him. I think he's that sort of player, right? And I think he's having a bit of a dip in form right now, but I also think Falcons overall as a team is probably causing some of that. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.